The rain hammered against the cracked windshield of Jake's tow truck as he pulled into the garage at 2 a.m., his hands still trembling from exhaustion. In the backseat, his 6-year-old daughter Emma slept with her school backpack as a pillow, her small chest rising and falling peacefully. He'd picked her up from his neighbor's house an hour ago after a late-night emergency call, promising her hot chocolate in the morning to make up for another disrupted night. As Jake carried her inside their tiny apartment above the shop, he wondered how much longer he could keep juggling the impossible, being both mother and father, mechanic and caregiver, provider and protector. He never imagined that fixing one broken-down Mercedes the next afternoon would change everything. The silver Mercedes pulled into Jake's auto shop just as he was wiping grease from his hands, preparing to close early for Emma's parent-teacher conference. The woman who stepped out looked like she'd driven straight off a magazine cover, elegant cream coat, designer sunglasses, and an expression of mild distress that somehow remained composed. "I'm so sorry to bother you this late," she said, her voice refined but genuinely apologetic. "My car just died, and every other shop nearby is closed. I saw your light on." Jake glanced at his watch, then at the Mercedes. "Ma'am, I really need to. Please." Something in her voice made him pause. "I have to get home to my son. He's only 7, and his nanny had to leave early. He's alone." Jake understood that fear. He saw it in his own mirror every morning. "Give me 10 minutes to look." The woman, she introduced herself as Victoria, stood nearby as Jake popped the hood. She didn't check her phone or pace impatiently like most of his wealthy clients. Instead, she noticed the small workbench in the corner where Emma's homework was spread out beside a half-eaten sandwich. "You have a child," Victoria observed softly. "A daughter. Emma. She's 6. Jake didn't elaborate, focused on diagnosing the problem. "Your alternator's shot. I can fix it, but it'll take about an hour, maybe more." Victoria's face fell. "I don't have an hour. Marcus, my son, he gets anxious when I'm late." Jake straightened up, seeing genuine maternal worry in her eyes. It reminded him of himself every time Emma's school called. "Tell you what, let me make a call. My neighbor can stay with my daughter a bit longer. Your son shouldn't be alone. I can't ask you to." "You're not asking. I'm offering." As Jake worked on her car, Victoria made several calls, her conversation revealing pieces of her life. A son who struggled with anxiety after losing his father 2 years ago. A demanding career as a pediatric surgeon. The constant balancing act between providing financially and being present emotionally. "Sounds familiar," Jake said, tightening a bolt. "Except I'm the mechanic version. Lost my wife 3 years ago. Cancer. Been just me and Emma since." Victoria was quiet for a moment. "I'm so sorry. That must be incredibly hard." "We manage." Jake's voice was steady, but something in it betrayed the exhaustion underneath. "She's my world. I work extra shifts, take late calls, do whatever it takes. She deserves better than what I can give her, but she never complains." "Better." Victoria moved closer, watching him work with practiced hands. "She has a father who loves her enough to sacrifice sleep, to put her first, to show up. That's not something money can buy." Jake paused, caught off guard by the emotion in Victoria's voice. "Marcus has everything materially," she continued. "But he's lonely. He asks me constantly about his father, about what it means to have a dad who plays catch, who fixes things, who's just there. I can perform life-saving surgeries, but I can't give him that male presence, that sense of stability." The vulnerability in her confession surprised Jake. Here was a woman who had everything by society's standards, yet felt the same inadequacy he battled daily. "You're there," Jake said simply. "That's what matters. Trust me, showing up is 90% of parenting." They talked while he worked, trading stories about their children, laughing at the universal chaos of single parenting, the forgotten permission slips, the creative dinner solutions, the guilt that never quite faded. Victoria mentioned how Marcus loved science but struggled to make friends. Jake shared how Emma was brilliant at math but got anxious during tests. When Jake finally closed the hood, wiping his hands, he quoted her a price that was more than fair. Victoria pulled out her wallet and handed him double. "That's too much," Jake protested. "No, what you did tonight, putting aside your own obligations to help a stranger, that's worth more than money." She paused, seeming to gather courage. "Can I ask you something unusual?" Jake waited, curious. Would you and Emma like to have dinner with Marcus and me this weekend? Just a casual meal. I think," she hesitated, "I think Marcus could benefit from meeting someone like you. And honestly, I could use a friend who understands this single-parent journey." Jake was taken aback. Wealthy clients didn't usually socialize with their mechanics. But something in Victoria's sincerity, in the way she spoke about her son with such protective love, reminded him that beneath the surface differences, they were just two parents trying their best. "Sure," he found himself saying. "Emma loves making new friends." That Saturday dinner changed everything. Marcus, a quiet boy with serious eyes, lit up when Jake asked about his science project. Emma, usually shy around new people, chattered enthusiastically about her favorite books. Victoria watched them interact with something like wonder on her face. Over the following months, what started as occasional dinners became regular weekend gatherings. Jake taught Marcus how to change a tire, how to swing a baseball bat, how to build a birdhouse with patient, encouraging guidance. Victoria helped Emma with her math anxiety, using the same calm, methodical approach she used with scared patients. The children became inseparable. One evening, after the kids had fallen asleep during a movie, Victoria turned to Jake with tears in her eyes. "I need to ask you something, and please don't feel pressured to say yes." She took a shaky breath. "These past few months, watching you with Marcus, seeing him smile again, hearing him laugh, you've given him something I couldn't. You've shown him what it means to have a father figure." Jake's heart pounded. "I know this is unconventional, and we're still getting to know each other, but..." Victoria's voice cracked slightly. "Would you consider being more than just a friend? To Marcus, to me. I'm not asking you to be something you're not. I'm asking if you'd want to build a real family, together." Jake was silent, processing the magnitude of what she was asking. Not just to date, but to step into the role of father to her son, to blend their broken families into something whole. "I see the way you look at Emma and Marcus together," Victoria continued. "Like you're already imagining them as siblings. And Marcus, he asked me last week, 'Mom, do you think Jake could be my dad?' Not a replacement for his father, but someone new to love." Jake thought about his tiny apartment, his perpetual exhaustion, his constant worry about giving Emma enough. Then he thought about the laughter that filled Victoria's home, the way Marcus hugged him goodbye, the warmth of having another adult who truly understood. "I don't have much to offer," Jake said quietly. "I'm just a mechanic." "You're not just anything." Victoria's hand found his. "You're kind, selfless, patient, and loving. You showed me that night at the shop that real wealth isn't in bank accounts. It's in character. And you're the richest man I know." Jake looked at this extraordinary woman who had driven into his shop with a broken car and somehow fixed his broken heart. "Yes," he whispered. "I want to be Marcus's father. And I want Emma to have you as her mother. I want us to be a family." Victoria's tears spilled over as she embraced him, and in that moment, Jake understood that sometimes the most unexpected breakdowns lead to the most beautiful repairs.